Hi guys, welcome to a new series on 101 GMing. How to create your first story, be it for a one shot, be it for a campaign, or at least how I create it. You don't have to follow this. It's not the right way, it's not the wrong way, it's just the way I do it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take you through the steps from start to finish of me getting to a point of I'm ready for session 1. That includes roping some of my friends in to do a session zeros, creating their characters, making sure they fit into the world that I've got envisioned. If you're doing a one shot, you're doing pre-gen characters, you don't need to worry about that. But I figured that side of stuff, if you're not going to if the players aren't going to create the characters and you create them, you don't need guidance for that. You know, that's easy enough to do. So I'm going to go through the stages I go through, from coming with the initial concept of a world with primers and foundations for the world. I'm going to come up with a first session story, how I'm going to get the players into the story, and then a 2 to 4 hour adventure to introduce people to the world, first level, and play the game. So hopefully this will be useful for GMs, new GMs, maybe old GMs will pick something up different from that they can use. But for me, this is mostly focused on new experience, new GMs who want to get into it and haven't got an idea how to do this from scratch at all, so I figured an entire series of useful knowledge. So what I'm going to do, we'll start off with some basics information of what stages I need to go through, and then over the course of the next few videos, we'll do each stage, and we'll see what people and we'll see what we come up with at the end of it. So first off, my initial concept work I tend to do in OneNote or Excel, depending on what I'm doing. This is purely because it's a quick, easy access tool, but you don't need to use OneNote. There's lots of options out there. I just use OneNote because I have it and it's useful. So you may notice here I've got a couple of ones in here which are already RP. So I've got Barazan, which is my main campaign setting at the moment. Lost in the Mines is actually one I'm playing in. I'm doing Mines of Vandelver with a group of online people that I've just met. Interesting, playing Tabaxi Rogue in that. It's a bit of different for me. And then I've got a few other bits at once, but this time we want a new one. So on my social, new GM world build. We'll actually give it a title eventually. Nobody needs to be invited to it. So end up with a blank page. That's what you start with. So from here, what do I need to do? So this section, first off, planning. So stage 1, I need to plan the system. No point me doing anything unless I've got it planned. So stuff to do. So so I need a setting. World, region, village. Obviously, to start with, that's a world. You're not going to build a world from scratch. That's just not, you just don't do that. What I recommend is you start off with a village or a small town, depending on what you want, and you build out from there. So adventurers, first level adventurers, don't know much about the world out maybe 30 miles outside of this town they're in. They probably don't know a huge amount. So in actual fact, you don't need to know about that anything outside that 30 miles. So that will be video, the next video after this one. Second one, adventure. And I can't spell. Episode 1. As I say, I'm dyslexic. I'm not expected to be able to spell. So, I tend to plan myself episodes, small contained storylines. In this case, it will be a 1 session storyline, but sometimes that could be a 2 or 3 session storyline to build in some character and some depth. This one, we're going to play it as a 1 session. And that will be taking stuff that I have always done, but there's been people out there who've done some really nice tools to help build that. And they'll be linked in when we use them, and I'll talk about them and I will credit them because they're all good guys and girls. Next stage. Once you've got an adventure plan, we need maps. So with any D&D game, you can do Theatre of the Mind, but let's be honest, D&D is quite designed to be used battle maps and tokens. Doesn't have to be models. It can be bits of cardboard, pictures. I use miniatures, but I also use papercraft models as well. So first thing we'll need to do is design maps for the story. So once we've done the adventure, we'll go through and work out what maps we need, and we'll build them. Next up, NPCs. So once we've created the maps, we're going to need to fill them with NPCs. We're going to need whoever the big bad for that episode is. We're going to need his minions. You're also going to need some NPCs like the town mayor or the shopkeeper or etc. Or the person who's going to give them the quest in the first place, depending on how the quest comes about. So that will be where I create those. Some of them will get statted. Some of them will just be purely notes about this is the type of character they are. Then, once you've done all that, you need players. So, how do I go about getting players? How do I do that? My session session 0. What do I do to get players hyped about the game? And that will all come back to this stuff in the setting. What is special about your game, and making sure the players get infused about that and bring their own stuff in. And then once that's all done, so this is a collaborative setting. Everybody should be involved in the creation of the world. It's not just your world, it's your players. So we'll talk about how I go about doing that for the players and making sure they feel like it's their world, it's not just my world, and they're seeing a story. They want to be seeing a way their stuff is in the world as well. So that's the 6 stages I will go through in these videos. Might be 6 videos, might be a bit longer depending on some of the sections, how long they take. But to start with, this is the introduction. Nice quick video, introduce you to what I do. And next session will be on building the setting. Be that world, be that region, be that a village. I will get a rough idea of the world as well as the local village I'm doing, but the start point will be a village. But for now, goodbye, and I'll see people in the next video, which will be up in a day or 2.